Okay, so welcome to our latest edition of our Lean Six Sigma training here at Cal Poly. So I'm Eric Olson. Let me go ahead and do a slide share here. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to cover session 10 in the Morstein training material. That's the improved material. So welcome. Go ahead. All right. So once again, if you're on here, make sure you do like a name change. So our convention for the names are put in your full name, put in what kind of green belt, black belt, transactional green belt you are, and then what your location is a way to do that. So if you hover over the bottom of your screen on the participants, you can go ahead and make that happen. Moving ahead. So here we are in a course. We're down in the talking about the improved session. So we're down here. So you had 10.2 hours of online training if you're a transactional green belt, 11.4 if you're a regular green belt. And we got our black belt people sort of walking through a long session of analyze or 23 hours. So they're just sort of covering that throughout the remainder of sort of the summer portion of this class. So what I'll be doing with the black belts after this is we'll take a 3-week break and then we'll pick back up in the fall. And the black belts will meet about every other week and we'll cover the rest of the sessions for the black belt. So over this week and next week, we've got to wrap up everything for the green belt. So that's what we're doing at this point in time. You had your final mini project was due last Sunday night. So I see a lot of you guys successfully got that in. I'm not going to do the grading, or Laura and I are not going to do the grading on that. We'll probably have that done sometime, not this week, but next week. So you'll have that information on how you did on your mini project going into the final exam. All right. The final exam is actually scheduled for, I got to move my my pictures and videos here. It's scheduled for the 29th from 3 to 8 p.m. I have talked to a few of you that had conflicts at that specific time, and what I would like is we could sort of set this up so that let's say that you need to take that final exam in 3 hours sometime either on the 28th, which is a Sunday, or the 29th. So if you can't take it the 28th or the 29th, please contact me and we'll set up a separate time or window for you to go ahead and take that test. So that 3-hour window, I'm expanding that to actually 2 days or 24 or 48 hours between Sunday, the 28th, and Monday, the 29th. All right, so hopefully that works for everybody. Does anybody have any questions? We're going to talk a little bit about what the exam protocol is in a little bit. But any questions about what the time allowance is going to be on that final exam? If you got a question, go ahead and raise your hand. See, so I don't see any hands raised. If you have a question at any point in time, please go ahead and raise your hand and stop me. Okay, so here we have the dashboard for the week, tracking how we're doing as far as performance. We missed a data point last week because Laura was out camping. That kind of thing happens when you're tracking data. So what we did is we missed a plot for week 9 and we plotted for week 10. But you can kind of see on percent correct, everybody's doing pretty well in comparison to past classes. On-time delivery, we had a pretty big fall off on week 10. Probably not unexpected, as people were also sort of working on their mini project, was due at the same time. But I expect everybody to come back up and finish clean by the end of week 11 on that. Okay. We've got our online attendance, continue to ride that curve down a little bit. Hopefully you guys are live are getting as much out of it by watching posts on YouTube or whatever. And then as far as our on-time completion statistics for this summer, does somebody have their microphone isn't muted? I'm getting some feedback on a microphone. So if everybody could sort of check their microphones and see if it's muted there. Yeah, there we go. Sounds a little better. So on the summer, we've got on rough draft completion, we've already looked at that statistic, 70.6%. Mini project on-time completion, only 56%. And as far as posters, which you do for extra class participation credit in this class, we've only got 2. But you know that 2 is in comparison. So we had 14 out of when we had 80 students in the spring. Here we only got 30 students here in the summer. So that's what a little bit of that difference is. Okay. Excuse me, getting over a little summer cold here. All right. What I want to do is I want to do some breakout rooms, and we're now down to, you guys have gone through the improve, you've actually completed your mini project, so you've done some work in the control also. So in the improve stage, what I'm concerned about there as far as your green belt or your black belt story goes is what was the change? So what are you doing different now that you've gone through and done your improvement project? So something is different either in the physical space, in the process, in the behavior of the employees. What was the change or what are you doing differently is what we're interested in the improve phase. And then the other part of that in the improve is understanding how that did or will, if you've just done a proposal, how it will affect the problem or the measure that you're using to gauge how bad that problem is. So if you've got some sort of gap that you're trying to close or something, some problem you're trying to address, we'd be interested in what was the change, what did you change, and how's that going to affect the problem. So what I want you to do is think about that a little bit. I'm going to put you in breakout groups. So let's see. So if Matt, Laura, and I, so 4, so 7. So if I break you into, I'm just going to break you into 3 groups. And so if I can ask, you know, Matt, Ed, and Laura, don't join a group, and we can sort of stay at our level and sort of chat for a little bit. Everybody else, I'm going to ask you to break into groups. I'm going to give you 6 minutes, and I'm going to get out my little timer here. So I'm going to give you 6 minutes in your breakout groups. So whoever you get paired up with in your breakout groups, go ahead and share with them what was the change and how did it affect the problem, or how do you think it will affect the problem. So with that, my timer, set that for 6 minutes. Okay, and let me go ahead and make these breakout rooms. So I'm going to make 3 breakout rooms. Create breakout rooms. Okay. I'm going to open all rooms. And let's see what we need to do here. So let's see. So we've gotten breakout room 1, we're okay. Judy and Zhao and Cassian, that number. So I'm going to go ahead and, so one of the things I'm doing now, guys, is I'm going to join one of the breakout rooms here, just going to see if Cassie has a partner to talk to here. All right, so now, so Matt and Ed, so I'm back with you guys. Let me go ahead and move that clock down to 5 minutes and start it. So, you all set? So, so Matt, I want to introduce you to Ed. So Ed was actually interviewing for a job as a full-time lecturer here at Cal Poly. So we came down here and visited for about an hour and a half, and we sort of chatted a little bit. And we're thinking about, maybe possibly Ed's getting into the teaching business. So I wanted to show him what that looked like online. So Matt, Ed, Matt.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
So Ed, you just want to give Matt sort of the quick thumbnail of sort of who you are and sort of what you're doing?
Sure. So I'm let's see, by practice, a mechanical engineer. I did a lot of product development at Raycam, and then did quite a bit of management at what used to be called Applied Biosystems, which turned into Life Technologies. I've also done, in the course of developing new products, you always have issues and problems. So along the way, you start picking things up like design of experiments, Six Sigma type of things. Like I noticed in the initial slide that Dr. Olson presented, there was voice of the customer. When I first heard of voice of the customer, it was called QFD because it was a direct translation from the Japanese. Quality function deployment doesn't really mean a lot to us in terms of a meaningful sentence. So they changed that to voice of the customer. But you get into product development, you realize that, wow, we're just scratching the surface. And how do we capture best practices? How do we capture design rules? How do we do all sorts of stuff there? And then part and parcel of product development is getting into problem solving, because no product is perfect, even though we try to make it so. And so problem solving becomes, kind of the thing that works hand in hand with problem solving. At least one of the tools is designed experiments. So DOEs, as they're called, or designed experiments, multi-factor experiments where you vary multiple factors at the same time. And by doing that very carefully and in a very organized way, you're able to understand which are the critical factors.
Thanks for giving us the thumbnail there. I noticed that Josh joined us here. So Josh, are you there? Can you unmute your microphone?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. Hey, you got thrown into the top level since I think you came a little bit late to the party, but you want to give us a quick lowdown on what you're doing for your project. You got like about a minute and a half, so we're interested to find out like what kind of improvements you've put in place, or what kind of changes you're doing for your mini project, and like what's the impact going to be. Hey, Josh, you still there? Well, I guess I scared him off. Yeah, Matt, I think you're mute. Are you muted, Matt?
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
I was worried. I changed this to my other speaker, so I'm glad we sorted that out before.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll be starting in a minute. So.
Yeah, anyway, thank you for inviting me, Dr. Olson, and appreciate you spending all that time with me yesterday, because that was very helpful and frankly enjoyable. Yeah.
Well, good. It's nice talking to good people, right? So it works out well for me too. So I enjoyed talking to you. So this is the way we do the class. This is sort of the first sort of administrative sort of point. We touch bases with people on their projects to see how they're going.
Yep.
We try and, as we go through, we walk through that sort of building their DMAIC story, if you will, for their projects. And
right.
We use these sort of breakout rooms as a technique to make that happen.
Yeah, well, it's a very good system. Is this like Citrix or something akin to Citrix?
It's Zoom.
Okay.
Is the sort of the name of the the software.
Right.
So that was our 6 minutes. So I'm closing the room. It takes like 30 seconds for the room to close.
Okay.
And everybody has a chance to sort of finish up. But yeah, it's actually pretty neat stuff. It's it's actually got that sort of Apple feel to it, in that like a lot of things happen sort of automatically, plug and play.
Right.
And it's a little bit smarter than I am as far as doing the things that need to be done. So not too bad. So now we got a train going through. All right. So let me get out my my Matt Ward script here. And okay, so it looks like we're all back from our breakout rooms. Hopefully, you've had a chance to sort of explain your your changes or improvements to some of your fellow students. Any insights or comments sort of coming out of that? Did anybody sort of struggle or was overly embarrassed by what they had to say? Go ahead and raise your hand if you want to say something. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to my slides now. So let me go back to sharing. There we go. Share screen. Okay, so so wrapped up with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to our celebrity interview. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording for a second here. So I'm going to stop recording on the